Do you mind if I go up between sets to do that announcement?
No, that'll be great too. Let me make sure I got everything really. Yeah, that's that telltale. The stream has started.
Okay.
So we're recording there. We're recording here. We're recording here. The light is way too bright in here. We're going to work on that. But let me just pull down this one here. You're okay. I can go back like this. And I might as well make all this clanking noise now because I'm told we're going to need a couple music stands. So here's one. There's going to be one more. The rest of that's the door that slides down to the swimming pool. We had to close the opium den, so. So we're going to need these at this end. But like that, we'll use these at some point. Right.
As we thank you for being like the intrepid people at the front. I know a lot of people are afraid. I don't know why. It's not class, but thank you. And I love that color, by the way. It's a beautiful color. Oh. Need some Marvin Gaye. Come on. Mood lighting.
Okay, Evan.
Okay.
Take it away.
So welcome to the first inaugural Sundered Sound experiment mixing words and music in lovely ways. And to open up our night, we have August Edwards. August is a nonfiction writer. She's lucky in cards and in love. She listens to desert rock. You can find her work in Albuquerque Green Room, Word West Review, Mulberry Literary, and Hard Noise. Please welcome August.
Hello. Thank you, Bird and Beckett, for hosting. Thank you, Evan. Thank you, Evan, for your thoughtful curation of tonight. Could have been a little more thoughtful, yeah. What I'll be doing tonight is a little different than the rest of the evening, so if you hate me, please still stick around. It'll get better, in your opinion. All right, so I have a collection. It's called like Diary of First, which was like my gimmicky way of kind of like putting these different little days kind of together that I saw working together kind of well. It's like my first X, my first Y. So yeah, I'll get started here. My first time at Launchpad. George lives in Santa Fe, and I ride the rail runner to see him on the weekends. But this week he texted me he's coming to Albuquerque, and he bought me a ticket to see a show with him. Between seeing my high school boyfriend's metalcore band play the Franco-American Club and seeing Bob Dylan at a minor league baseball stadium in Rhode Island when I was 11, I covered a large and distinct area of shows. But that was pretty much it. George picked me up in my dorm, from my dorm in his 2002 red Toyota Corolla, which I thought was the most perfect car. He rolled down his window and smoke billowed out. One sec, he said, as he reached to the back and fished for the door handle because the door didn't open from the outside. I had to get in the back seat because he brought a friend, a seated passenger. I wish I remembered the friend's name because he was nice and he offered me weed, but I declined and resigned myself to being quiet. Always in George's car, I felt like a prop, a guest to dirt and old receipts and ashes and clothes strewn about. If I could talk to inanimate objects, I tried to tell them, I come in, please accept me. You know Kubla Khan? George or his friend asked me. Yeah, I said. They put on what I presumed to be Kubla Khan, who I learned from a hasty Google search moments prior was a metal band hailing from Texas. You're 19, one or both of them asked me. Yeah, I said. You're going to have to go through the back. It's okay. I've had to do that before. Then they kept repeating those lines. Go through the back. It's okay. It's okay. Maybe it was a weed or maybe it was a dumb look plastered on my face. Either way, I did feel comforted by them. We parked across from the launch pad. The sun had just slipped below the horizon. The sky was this purple and orange color, and downtown Albuquerque might as well have been New York or Tokyo or something to me. This must be how moths feel, impressed by any light. Not that I was nervous I'd get laughed out of the venue, but I didn't want my naivete to hinder my experience. Before I really had to say anything, though, everything sort of blossomed at once. George showed our tickets to the door guy, who gave George and his friend stamps on their hand, but not me because I couldn't drink or anything. The door you enter through to the back is right next to the stage on the opposite end of the venue from the bar. I didn't see the bar all night because I didn't have a stamp. The underage door is also the door that band members dart in and out, haul equipment to and fro. George pulled me to the back of the floor. Really, everything happened so fast. 2 bands opened for Kubla Khan, and they both sounded the exact same. Every song, every measure. They even all looked the same. But I tried to find the beat, which is harder than... and make it look like I belonged. The 300 maximum capacity venue seemed to be about maximally capacitated. I stood shoulder to shoulder with the people who had to have been real fans and therefore knew way more than me. By the time the headliners went on, the fans were crazy, and Kubla Khan still sounded the same to me as the other bands. After the first couple songs, the vocalist paused to address the audience, and for the first time that night, I understood the words coming from the stage. This next one's for the poets. Somehow, even way in the back, the pit swarmed past us and past us. I didn't join the pit, but I stood at the very edge and let people crash into me as it torpedoed by. George noticed I was getting a little roughed up and stepped in front of me for protection. I think he thought I had no agency in the matter, as if I didn't strategically place myself as close to the action as I could. I thought of it as a kind gesture, and in George's shadow, I could look even closer at the vortex of organized chaos without fear of getting stomped on. I didn't have the words for it at the time, but this is where I began to understand that the audience was as much of a part of the show as the bands. The first time, I knew what I really wanted to do. Tuesday night, warm for February, I went on a date to see a metal show. The second time, I went to the Launchpad. I had been apathetic upon arrival because the headliner was a Christian metal band, War of Ages. Neither Christian nor a metal listener, I thought the two elements seemed in conflict with one another. Maybe one ideology tore the other down and vice versa. But like I said, I didn't know a thing about either. We arrived before the first act began. We had to enter from the back of the venue as I was still underage and still couldn't pass by the bar yet. George moved home to Texas this month, and in an act of resilience, I joined Tinder for the first time. Right away, I met someone who was really nice, Price. Price said his friend's band was playing that night. Want to go to Launchpad Tuesday? He texted. I responded, hell yeah, or something like that, something that gave the impression this was not my first rodeo. While Price smoked a cigarette behind the launch pad, members of his friend's band hefted equipment from their various small cars into the dark venue. When we met his friend, Adam Johnston, a guy Price went to high school with, I sort of got the idea that they weren't friends at all, or it was imbalanced at least. My Tinder date kind of got snubbed by the guy, the guitarist for a band called West Wind. I'm pretty sure Adam faked a call from his girlfriend to get away. We entered through the door decked in layers of stickers. There was significantly less people than who came to see Kubla Khan, and I felt this very inherent responsibility to stand up front. Even though I stood up in front of the stage, I pressed against the wall trying to be flat. I didn't recognize any of the music playing on the loudspeakers. As far as I could remember, I went in and automatically divorced myself from the crowd. I was 20. When you're 20, you're aware of how young you may be, but there's no way of knowing what youth means. And anyway, you don't always feel young at 20. You don't always feel young. However, this night, I felt young, or maybe I had a burgeoning awareness of my own lack of experience. Westwind kicked off the night and were a complete delight to watch. I wouldn't tell them this, but they weren't particularly good. They fell out of rhythm with each other, and their sound was muddy. When I think of the 5 of them on stage, it's like picturing 5 different movies playing at once. I loved the feeling I had. I had all these pre-existing ideas of what music should look like, and what I saw went against that. Matt, the singer for Westwind, talked to us between songs. It's hard out there, he said. It's easy to feel like the world is against you. That's why it's up to all of us to be there for each other and help each other through. By the time the second band went on, I felt that guarded part of myself slightly dissipate. Immediately, there was something happening that I could wrap my mind around a lot easier. This band's name was Patema. I liked that the 5 members before me were wearing leather jackets, and I liked that they all had nice, black, shiny, clean shoes. Growing up listening to the Ramones, I understood what it meant when a band appeared in uniform. I remember the feeling of anticipation before hearing what they sounded like, a series of moments that would feel like a mystery being solved. They began sound checking, notes coming fast, double bass pedal pounding from the drums, singer with a voice like Suede. Jaw dropped. I was enamored of the music, equal parts what I heard and where it came from. I learned that they classified themselves as progressive metal, that they were local, which meant I lived in a community of music and I wanted to hear all of it. I learned that they were all about my age. In fact, 2 of the members and I were only born weeks apart. I wanted to learn more and I wanted to share it with everybody. What was metal? Who listened to metal? Who was having these conversations? These questions, without a doubt, sprung from me all at once. And I realized something that changed my life. I like whatever metal is. I'll be honest, that was the end. That was the beginning of the end for me and my Tinder Prince price. Because the other thing that happened tonight was I realized I didn't need a date to have a good time at shows. I could figure this out on my own. Things like not getting swallowed by the pit or standing close to the stage to give the bands my full attention. I saw local bands that made me think, there's no way I live in the same town as these legends. During the third band set, a touring band from Ohio, the guitarist threw his guitar way up in the air and failed to catch it. This was when Price ended up joining the pit and he twisted his ankle pretty bad. Ick. And so we left before the headlining act. My first, second, and third PBRs. This summer I go to shows by myself. I bought my car in May and suddenly I didn't have to ask my friends for rides or pay for Uber or Lyft or walk. These were pivotal months for me though. My dependency on Nathan and Hano and Alexei to kind of give me pep talks, whether they do it or not, which emboldened me to stick out a show or talking to a musician. I have no fashion sense. At 20, I have no money to get the clothes that I like anyway, or so I think. And when I look at other girls my age, I don't think I look anything like them. And I was too hung up on my body to even start thinking about what they wore. All of that changed when I started going to shows. I didn't look like the people in the scene either, but all of a sudden it didn't matter. I wore a 10-shaped yellow sundress to see Anesthesia, to see Patema. I wore a form-fitting dress with something like tribal print, really popular in 2013, which I was still wearing 5 years later. At shows, what you wore was irrelevant. I found out that the community only cared that you showed up as yourself. By the end of the summer, subconsciously, my style changed a little bit. I found black, scuffed up, square-toed boots at Savers. I wore those with my outdated dresses. I parked my car on Stanford and walked to where I heard the new DIY space was. The house venue Fly Honey had just been suspended due to neighbor complaints. So for a few brief weeks, Adam Smith threw shows at 123 Fake Street. On the sidewalk, I saw members from Westwind. When they noticed me, they sort of quit their chatter and watched me walk up. When Dan complimented my dark blue dress, I said, let's switch outfits then. Matt was in his 30s, a father. He had a smart government job. He wore glasses and spoke like the educated person he was, said words I didn't know. I still remember when he explained to his band what esoteric meant, and I nodded like I already knew, but to this day, I honestly don't remember the definition. This summer evening, he said to me, want a beer? I never experienced the comfort that a can of Pabst Blue Ribbon could bring in social practice. One reason for this was that I was still only 20. I gulped the warm car trunk beer pretty fast and listened to Westwind tease each other, finding laughter easy. Matt handed me another before we went into the house for the show. The other bands on the bill that night were local darlings Crushed and South Dakotan powerhouse Steak Sauce Mustache. So this guy, Adam Johnston in Westwind, not to be confused with Adam Smith, DIY booker and proprietor and member of Crushed, Adam Johnston, I ended up getting relatively close with my old Tinder date's high school buddy. That's another story. But this night at 123 Fake Street, Warren Pabst in hand, Westwind was really killing it. They played in a furnitureless, that's not a word, furnitureless living room, and other than a large pride flag, there were no wall decorations to speak of. There were like 7 of us watching, and there was a lot to watch. Where I previously thought there was a lack of cohesion, that their lack of cohesion was a strike against them, I began to understand that it was actually harmonic. As I admired Gilby's slouchy yet spring-loaded style, I noticed something jerk in the corner of my eye. Adam Johnson had stopped playing, and yeah, I was still figuring out how to listen to live music because I saw him not play, not heard him not play. Anyway, instead of playing, he stared, eyebrows jumping off his forehead, mouth in a perfect O, at a hole in the wall, which I can only assume he just created, and I can only assume he didn't think he was capable of such destruction. I assume these things because I guess later I could have asked what happened, but I didn't. On my way out, I bought a t-shirt from a guy in steak sauce mustache. "Thanks for coming," he said. "Oh yeah, I wouldn't miss it," I said. "Albuquerque has always been so nice to us," he said. "Yeah, those guys in Westwind are great," I said. "So great," he said. "And they're such sweethearts," I said. "Oh yeah, such sweethearts," he said with this sheepish look on his face, like a guy who just got calling his buddies sweethearts. My first band breakup. The disillusion of Westwood begins with Dan, the drummer, quitting. Dan told me this in a Facebook message with an LOL attached. This is a great personal loss for me. I asked Dan if he'd meet me for coffee for an interview. I guess it's like an exit interview. At this point, I'm getting interested in what comprises a band on a molecular level. It's a lot more than instruments, strings and sticks and stuff. Dan's more than willing to meet with me. We sit in the corner of a coffee shop. We're at a satellite across from the University of New Mexico, where I'm attending. Dan went there too, for health sciences or something like that. I'm really happy to see him because he's friendly in a way that makes me ease up. This interview is mostly about me. I don't understand how bands break up. Not only do you have a knowledge of music, but you know how to compose a song, and you get to do it with some of your closest friends. You know how to book a show, and you know how to get people to come and watch you. How do you let that go? Dan is respectful and professional. He's not trying to stir shit, even though he's upset too. I guess when you work so closely with your friends, things get hairy. It's not like mixing paint, the art, the business, and the friendship. It doesn't blend together. It seems more like a really sensitive scale, maybe a scale that gets angry and hurt when it gets tipped. The way Dan talks about it to me, he's really thankful because it's like a venting session for him. But I feel like I'm the last person on earth to understand how it works. I still feel like I'm missing a lot. At the end of our discussion, he invites me to a house show he's playing that night. He's in a cover band with another member of Westwind, Gilby. It's like a consolation prize. I'm just happy to know that Dan still wants to make music. Okay, that's it. Thank you.
One more time for August, people. We have two talents mingling. We have the words of L.D. Townsend, and she is a poet from San Francisco. Her work has been published in the Berkeley Fiction Review, Made at Berkeley, and the Anna magazine. L.D.'s poetry and prose have been described as towing the line between absurd mundanity and objective surrealism. And she'll be accompanied by Nathan Ho. Nathan Ho is an SF Bay Area native electronic musician, educator, and specialist in digital signal processing. His debut album, Haywire Frontier, was released on the Japanese label Tokunogake in September 2023. Please welcome the two to the stage.
All right, so our set is going to be entirely different than what August just did, but I think that's okay. It's going to be a little rapid fire, so we'll see if my vocal cords last through it. So basically what we're doing is I'm reading poems rapid fire while Nathan plays, and we have rehearsed, so it shouldn't be too much of a disaster. All right, so we'll get going here, and thank you so much to Bird and Beckett for putting this show on. Happy birthday, Purple Man. It was Grimace's birthday, so we drove my hatchback through the Mickey D's drive-thru for the first time in 10 years and ordered our purple potions with whipped cream and paper straws. And when I pulled up to the next window, the McDentured worker gave me a thumbs up and a smile through his teeth that screamed Ecclesiastes 1:9 from the cloying post-irony in his eyes. So we drove to the parking lot by the Civic Center, sat on the hood and admired the splendor of a cup of something unquantifiable, something impossibly and intangibly born from either the round bones of the Purple Man or the cold clinical chamber of a chemically cleaned blender. And it all ended there spectacularly. Purple splats on the concrete, cracking and filled with weeds, the fire season in full heat, the full communion of Lord Grimace in heaven just lying there, gooped and sizzling in the summer-struck parking lot, speckled over the open car door. And we drive home in quietude, not silence, not in solitude, but in penance. Windows open to the heartsick breeze, none of us quite sure what we're sitting here for, shuddering at the stoplight, tongues purpled between the freeway on-ramp and the hardware store. Things I wish I wrote in permanent marker on the Arco bathroom wall. I've circled the drain, come up empty, kicking some rocks with Timberland toes until they sink into once bursting streams, now quiet with the guilty summer's raging resurgence. Die there at the bottom. Where are all your friends? Heat wave in November, a Leviathan F-250 overturned in the right-hand lane. The left indicator still blinking, little amber eye pleading for some road not taken. Robert Frost, avert your eyes. I know whose woods these are. I can hear the games being played in the house I grew up in just past the tree line. Games played by other people's children. I hope my grandfather haunts them. I hope he hitches up his trousers and shuffles forwards and clears his throat and asks for red wine. The fentanyl might be hiding. Check the cupboards, check the window siding. When I was a kid, I was afraid of loud noises, dark corners, harsh voices. Now I think I'm more afraid of silence, but not the quiet kind of silence. The kind of silence that grips onto the pipes under the floors and in the walls and squeezes their aortas. The kind of silence that oozes from the HVAC vents. The kind of silence that rips out from the diaphragm and eats the front window whole, sits digesting it all at the kitchen table. Where'd you go? Who's to blame? Plan your escape route for when the streams die out, for when it douses itself in brilliant flame. Oh, the immediacy. Let me say it again. I'm sorry, I promise. I'm sorry I brought tuna casserole to meet your parents at your childhood home. And I'm sorry I threw up engine oil on the Toulemon Bouchard in their living room. I really am, I swear. It's just that this morning I saw a shrike on the wire above my apartment and he started speaking to me. Don't attribute this to malice when it can be explained by ignorance. I asked him what he meant and he dove down and impaled the mouse in his talons all along. The blood dribbled down the branch and towards my sneakers in spasmic little sticky rivers. So I'm sorry I drank the blood of Jesus, synthetic oil grade 15W40. I went drive-by-wire full cataclysm crazy. You wouldn't have even recognized me. The oil snaking down my mouth as I tell your parents I'm sorry, as they stare at the casserole, as they stare at the stain. Oh, the immediacy. And it occurs to me that's not a Toulemon Bouchard, it's from Home Goods and costs $49.50. So I'm sorry, I promise. I vomited new gods on your parents' shit carpet. I expelled forbidden wards in bile and splattered grim religion on the walls and doors. I cast grisly reflections on the big bay windows and you asked me to leave. You took me by the arm and dragged me towards the door as your mother dry heaved and your father shrugged and sat down on the sectional couch and turned on the TV. All in all, a lovely evening, and if you can find it in your heart to say sorry to me too, I think I'll forgive you. I slept through my alarm and the world ended without me. I'm pissed, I'll say it. I told you to hang off on the theatrics of the pipe bomb until I'd at least washed up and eaten dinner. Ha, can you picture the drama of that? I slept through my alarm, I hit snooze instead of stop. Now the acid smog is almost through my Himalayan salt lamp and humidifier defense line. The Charge America station is out of juice. How the hell am I supposed to fill up my electric Chevy? That's what I'm saying, man. The world ended without me. Who's gonna hose the blood off the machines? Not just the machines of war, the other civilian machines. Laundry presses, hydraulic chambers, trash compactors, bright green John Deere sit-on tractors. Last night I asked a stranger to film us as we ran down the cold rocks of Ocean Beach, the sand on fire behind us, the chemical tracks sinking in. We laughed and pretended it was 1998 and we were using a Sony Handycam model DCR HC40 Mini DV. We shot the breeze. I slept through my alarm and the end of the world missed me. I checked my email, but all I got was an ad from Best Buy saying they had an RTX 3060 Ti, but I'd have to set it on fire in front of the store manager while he watches and giggles and cries real tears. I slept through my alarm and my house was pitch quiet, like an oil slick heavy in the living room. Any match or flicker could set it all ablaze. Hanging on to the monkey bars farthest from the safety of the tan bark and wondering what went wrong this morning and all the other mornings before. At the Fine Art Museum. In the exhibition gallery of the Fine Art Museum, I wanted to tell you something. I wanted to say that all things start from the center and grow out into spider webs, into traffic patterns and forearm scars. I wanted to tell you that I think the spiral is grounding at its uncanny, a cycle of clarity and a circle of obsession, the child's myth of making something from nothing. But you, stranger, stood with your head cocked, eyes straight ahead, and instead, I told you that everything is art except ideas aren't art. I told you that ideas are phlegmatic and they crawl on soft bellies to form a mass or a catalyst. And when struck and beaten to the point of bruising, all the little bits fly out and hit the walls and furniture, and that is art. But I didn't say that actually. I've lied. I said nothing and you did nothing but take a burdened sip of your smuggled in Coke Zero and tilt your head the other direction. Did the can's cold lip taste mercifully thin? Disappointment. Shadow your eyes, dot them with fervor, burn try again onto the bulging capacitors. Every road sign is bent northwards, every stoplight is a car crash waiting patiently. What's your Jesus like? Rope swing into cactus neighbor's yard, teasing each glance over the flaccid fence, hoping for a carcass or a sea of broken bottles and collapsed chairs, but seeing only the bleached maw of the clean empty pool and a cluster of sunflowers, perfectly healthy, dutifully facing east. A skeptic's guide to the family home. It's hard to explain that a house isn't haunted. The wood paneling isn't growing cancerous teeth. The patio glass harbors only the reflections of the thingful rooms you grew up in, until the carpeting starts to smell like the Marlboro Reds that your grandfather hasn't smoked in years, and the scrub jays rasp warnings to the quails just past the backyard line, the ones they should be chasing. When the front door is still swollen from last December's rain and doesn't open without protesting. And the second floor window can't be freed of spider webs, even with weekly desperate wavings of peppermint oil brushed onto broomsticks, garden hose warfare, frustrated launches of old tuna cans. The plasma TV and a yellowed PC tower have been displaced into the bedroom you once split with your brother. The footdents in the beige where your beds lived are dark and listless craters. And the wicker couch, indented in the middle, the shape of all of us at once, is heaving its cushions back to level. It's hard to explain that a house isn't haunted when it is. Vandals. Everyone comes to an enraptured stop, spilling from sports utility vehicles to cast wonder at the six-pump Chevron gas station. Witness aspirational heresy and hedonism in black Sharpie in the lonely bathroom stall. NATO bomb somewhere brown, gas over 7, blame Russia. I profess my love for my sweetheart with a half-dull Swiss Army knife etching feverishly onto the thick plastic door. Here on the slate metal mirror above the gaping sink, see the magic marker manifesto, the dogmatic mouthpiece of the last true patriots of the greatest country in the world. Pronouns are for crisis actors, agents of the transgender invasion. I might as well pen my apology to my grandmother, set in rhythm to the pathetic music of the hand air dryer. To Grammy, Pasentia Na, I love you. Sorry your favorite granddaughter is a dyke and doesn't believe in the miraculous work of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Come worn and weary, take part in the great exchange of languages lost and butchered beyond belief. El amor es la falta de la esencia. She fucked me right here and it was good. I've still got 3 minutes left in here before the semi-truck driver waiting outside starts kicking his steel-toed Wolverine work boot at the door and calling me a self-centered little socialist. Back outside, it smells like sweet tea, gasoline, and fresh-cut center median grass, and the second eye is shuddering red, coughing up fluorescence on the mini-mart sign. Before you go, take one last look at mankind's most profoundly obscure prophecy preserved for eternity on the spit-slick tile walls. What the fuck am I even doing here anymore? Flood warning. It was an atmospheric rain. Neo-biblical onslaught of liquid daggers straight into mud dome parts, bloating up these city quasi-basements with water grimed and green. No angels present at the scene. The flood follows 19th and Fulton to Ocean Beach, where we sit on our jackets and light cheap weed as death is complicated. It makes your mother tear her lashes from her eyes. It makes your father sob too. And your brother chews his tobacco and spits it into a Diet Coke can. Your sister doesn't know what to do, so she just stands by the open window, open to the rivers that were once side streets. And now, 2 blocks down, Caron is floating on his inflatable kayak, holding gold coins in his grade school backpack, and singing Dylan's Hurricane, asking softly at the door to your Spanish colonial duplex for you. Thank you. Sorry for how awkwardly I was battling this the whole time.
Go ahead and switch that mic for the guitar that's going to take place sooner or later. That should be ready. And when you're on these mics, you might want to once in a while step aside a little bit so we can see Rye, or the other way so we can see the guards. Just be conscious of that you're directly.
For sure. Just round of applause again for LD and Nathan. That was wonderful. And next up, we have the act of Alder and the Kindred. And now, Alder and the Kindred is a new project that emerged out of friendship, collaboration, and the need to incorporate music for the poems to be the poems they are. And the Alder and the Kindred is composed of Alder Dwan Hurley, Rye, Leo, and Kara. Welcome them to the stage. We climb the hill to proceed a park, rise through unlit neighborhoods. The city lights dim into a mat of glow-in-the-dark, star-shaped stickers on the carpet of a bedroom floor. The park's darkness, the darkness of lullaby. Of lights turned too low to see self-consciousness in the mirror. A few escaped raindrops blow sideways into my ear, the wind overeager to tell me a secret. The fog bank amoebas its way to either side of a protruding hill. Its fingers crawling towards ours, knuckles brushing mine, asking, "Can it hold hands too?" Like we do, even as the path narrows, till I'm tugging you along behind me, romping through the night, as if stomping through puddles in polka dot rain boots. It's more fun to be a child as an adult. Skip down the sidewalk after work. Pop the firecrackers you gave yourself permission to buy. Wait expectantly for yourself to ride home safely.
choose who to love, even when they might leave. Someone, reteach me how to frolic. Remind me how I used to roll down grassy hills like a tumbleweed, changing directions with the errantness of the wind's whim. How I used to somersault on the trampoline, world whirling around me, blur of sky beneath my eyes. How the armchair princess carried me through dozens of fantasy novels. How the most urgent summer question was once, when to release our adopted fireflies from their mason jar detainment, where they hid behind grass blades while we held them. How I burrowed into a book, the flashlight beam blanketed on my bed, stealing away from the interminableness of growing up. How missing family dinner used to be the exception. How my childhood home used to stand like a mansion in my mind, its second-story porch arcing through the sky, reachable only by beanstalk. How my parents were giants too, perfect and inhuman. I used to inherit my flawlessness from them. Somewhere, there is a childhood where kids are born knowing how to frolic, where they comprehend object permanence, know that love can be an object too. They forget the babyish fear that what disappears is gone. Caregivers full face, hovering over you moonlike. And then it turns away. And then it's out of sight. In Precita Park, the sky hangs moonless. Love is not a thing I can hold in my hand as I stand apart from you, wearing your leather jacket, aware of being in another's skin. Your grin shines, reflecting the city that you rotate to admire, skyline smudged by twinkling cell towers and the murky mirror of the bay. I stumble, foot caught on the shadow of a stone. I let your growing silhouette eclipse all that's behind. Childhood is forever behind us, and by behind, I mean within. I'm still afraid of who might turn away. Thank you all. That poem was Precita Park, and if anyone here is familiar with Precita Park and thought that the poem didn't sound like the park, you're right. It's actually Bernal Heights Park, which I found out long after I wrote it. But Bernal Heights Park sounds so much worse, so it's Precita Park. I want to thank Evan for curating this. Thank you for this opportunity for this group to be here. And also thank you, Eric and Bird and Beckett Bookstore for having us. Next up, we're going to play a piece called They Make a Killing. They make a killing on greed, with greed, through greed. Why pipe in clean water when we'll buy bottles betting plastic contaminants beat metal? Why let the blood of the earth drip through its crusts when they can tap it, sap it? Why cool the earth when the car's hot exhale can earn money like a subscription to rooftop yoga practiced in the red haze of a wildfire smoke sky? They make a killing on smart bombs, which take in the refugee camp below, decide, yes, correct, trained on a plethora of human decisions. They make a killing in arms, in amputees, in legs of their journey, carrying weapons from an American port to the Red Sea. They make a killing in the headlines, blazing the head count of the dead, if they report on it at all. When they make war, they make a killing. It's been suggested that the key to the nukes be kept in a heart. To loose that devastation upon any people again, the president would first have to kill the key holder. The plan was called barbaric. They don't want to see any of the blood when they make their killings. If they fought like we did, their tanks would be outfitted in rust. If they fought like we did, everyone would survive. Bombs would be dropped from our vocabulary. Our metaphors would be healed. No one would be dressed to kill. No one make an entrance like a bombshell, but like a peace deal. They would drop pamphlets, folded into red paper poppies. They would drop banners over our headquarters, the public square. They would drop to their knees when the names of martyrs are read. We outfit ourselves according to our purpose. Don't be fooled by the shooters in suits. Gloves don't make dirty hands clean. Don't be fooled by what is rust-colored on their tanks, their fatigues. Yes, that is the barrel of a gun, resting over their heart. Like a promise, like swearing. I swear! This nation furs and pearls itself in patriotism, so that its people won't protest the bare bloodlust it executes. We laud CEOs, our chief executors. We laud the president, chief executor of military plans. We laud the bootstrapper, prime go-getter, epitome of execution. You know how much they're paid to execute those on death row? Execution is well compensated. We love an execution. In the modern history of the word mutilate, it has never been said less than now. Its graphic gradual curve towards zero, with a spike in the 60s and 70s, when everyone knew the words Immolate, napalm, self, jelly, draft, protest. What Mutilate's history show? We recognized it today. It's a numbers game. Did mutilate show up in articles? Mutilate in poems, mutilate in texts, mutilate in captions and Instagram reels, mutilate in TikToks and X, mutilate in YouTubes and live streams. Do we know it when it's not in writing? Mutilate in images and videos, mutilate in dreams, in the insides of eyelids, mutilate in negligence, in apathy. What are we calling it now? To say mutilate less, will people mutilate more? The soldier calls it, I was afraid for my life of those starving citizens. The cop calls it, I was afraid for my life of those unarmed black boys. The Prime Minister calls it, Hamas could have been hiding under that child's arm. Make them call this what it is. Genocide.
Check. Oh, is this mic on? Check.
Can we have the saxophone mic on? All of them, I suppose.
Check. Sure. Check. Mic check. 1, 2. Hello, everybody. Thank you for listening to us. We're Alder and the Kindred. Yeah.
Could we have the third mic on as well?
What used to be the trumpet mic. Yep.
Yellow tape?
Hello. It's okay, I might not need it. I'll just yell. It's so loud. Hello. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Small cares. 1 month into the siege on Gaza. care in the form of 3 figs, picked from our tree this morning for Jackie. A bouquet given to Rye after it had been given to me, so that by the time it reached her, it had collected mine and Jackie's and Carrie's love. Like the dried sage Cynthia gave me for protection at Transmarch, that I placed as an offering on the altar for Palestinian martyrs. The bundle of chrysanthemums Anastasia gave me, that I gave back so they could deliver 1 stem each to the poets who read that evening. A single chrysanthemum stem, and the part of the bouquet I kept, and the altar marigolds, they commune, clustered together in a shared vase on my kitchen table. Where I made the mullein tea Jasmine gave me for my throat, given the air quality and the hours of shouting and chanting. I told her, these small acts are everything to me lately. So when I ask, how do you like to receive care? It's because I need to show it. I'm caring for me too when I tell Leo and Dana and my mom and Fen and Adrian that I love them. My mom who said, thank you, as we hugged, because following disaster, we remember to be tender to each other, and her Parkinson's diagnosis is our personal disaster. Yuan sends us Infinity Song's cover of I Don't Feel No Ways Tired. We've been attending so many actions and still no ceasefire. I feel so tired, so I listen again and again. They sing. Nobody told me that the road would be easy, and I don't believe he's brought me this far to leave me. Though he is not my God, when they sing, I remember I'm not abandoned. I don't believe he's brought me this far to leave me. I hold my hugs longer than I do when I'm not aware of people dying, even though they always are. We pass out pocketfuls of our big burdens. We pass around handfuls of small cares. Small is all I can manage alone. Together, we hold the vast, vast cares. We each read a few names of those killed in Gaza. Together, we send up a prayer. Brought me this far to leave me. I don't believe he's brought me this far to leave me. I don't believe he's brought me this far to leave me. I don't believe to leave me. I don't believe he's brought me this far to leave me. Join us. I don't believe he's brought me this far to leave me. I don't believe he's brought me this far to leave me. I don't believe he's brought me this far to leave me. I don't believe he's brought me this far to leave me. On guitar and trumpet, can we give it up for Leo? On drums, make some noise for Rye. And on bass, give it up for Kara. We are Alder and the Kindred. Thank you for listening. I don't believe he's brought me this far to leave me. I don't believe he's brought me this far to leave me. I don't believe he's brought me this far to leave me. I don't believe he's brought me this far to leave me. I don't believe he's brought me this far to leave me. And I don't believe he's brought me this far to leave me. Thank you.
Kindred, everyone. All right. And now we have closing out the night, the artistic talent of Tade Kennedy. Tade Kennedy is an Armenian-American emerging writer based in Oakland, California. He is fascinated by history, enjoys writing into the nooks and crannies of my life, and as a skilled daydreamer. When Tade is not writing, Tade likes to record music and make comics. He has been published in Transfer Magazine and The Ana. Please welcome Tade to the stage.
Hold on one second. Get some stuff settled. Hold on. We're figuring this out. Oh. There's this one that I spin, and then there's this. There we go. There it is. Okay. How's everyone doing? This was awesome. Give yourselves a round of applause. Give yourselves. All right. I go by Terrible Tade. I don't know if this one. How do you make this little thing stick? We're live streaming, huh? Okay. I'm a quiet singer, so I'm hoping we can all hear. There's this, and then what if I do this? No? Can you hear that? Yeah? That's good? Okay. Hold on one second. Sorry. Boom. Nice. We're good. Okay.
how's everyone doing? Okay, I'm gonna sing some songs. Usually I'm doing readings. I haven't played music in front of people for a very long time. I'm gonna play like 2 covers that I've never really done in front of people, but then I'm gonna do the rest that are original songs from a recent album that came out last year. Yeah. So yeah, this first one. You can hear this all? This is all good? Okay. Ooh, this is gonna be tough. Sorry. Let's do this. There we go. Would you like to talk about then? 'Cause everything I say doesn't make sense. No, can I? Okay, okay, we're good. I'm hot. I'm gonna take my sweater off. This is it. I'm sorry. We're just trying to get our bearings. Whew. It's hot, right? There's a lot of bodies. It's like, what, 100 people in here? A lot. All right. I use laughs as my defense mechanism of, all right, whew. Let's try this again. One more time. Okay. Okay, all right. Shit, fuck. What if this is the whole thing that I do? Maybe that's what I'll do. Okay. There we go. Okay, I'll end that one there. Okay. Whew. Okay. Yeah, that was a song called Behind the Garage by Eric Tripp. Okay, this next one is one of my songs. How come it's got to be so easy, so new, so fresh all the time, and so perfect too? How come I keep driving my car next to water, next to fire, but I haven't burned or drowned yet? I keep pulling off my skin and dressing in my suit, and good morning to the neighbor, and I'll kill you in your sleep. I know you, yes, I told you, do you see me? Yes, I told you so. Oh, you see me. Oh, you know me. Do you hear me? Yes, I told you so. Hang on, wait a minute. I'm only a whisper hanging in the shadow dark, and I'll come out in the start of the movie, so there's no surprise in the middle or the end when I turn to your friend. So I know you, yes, I told you, do you see me? Yes, I told you so. Oh, you know me. Oh, you see me. Do you hear me? Yes, I told you so. Bow to the queen of all the squirrels. And you paint your mouth, then you put it in a vase, and paint your face like the clown that you are, and then punch yourself in the face. Fuck. Yes, 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 yes. Okay, cool. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, that's a big bottle of water. All right. Let's tighten this thing again. Okay. Wrong way. Fuck. That was not good. Okay, we'll roll with it. Let's see. Hope that you found what you're looking for. Waking up in dusty morning clothes, heading home on a windy mountain road. You don't feel like you got it down just yet. Heading home through the darkest night you've seen, but we're softer now, talking about TV shows and books. We're softer now, talking about all the subtle looks. Hanging from your wall, lifeless heads that give no help. Plotting sibling, evil boy tries to keep you out. Now we're far again, selfish little plan, and the snaky trickster who stole away all your love. Now we yell again, words we'll never see. Yeah, we yell again over dead memories. We yell again over words that leave their marks. We yell again 'cause letting go is hard. I'm stuck in dusty mornings. I'm stuck in bright yellow light. I'm stuck in dusty mornings. I'm stuck in soft yellow light. Little finger, word of blood, and it could feel so right. And your best friend hates your guts, but it could feel so wrong. And your big mouth, words just come out, but you could take the fall. And your big head, yeah, you're so smart, but you could be more clear. Lay into all the cracks of your footsteps. Lay into all the cracks of your footsteps. In your bed and it looks bad, but you take it as it comes. All these bright rooms, then your dark room resting in its weight. And all your anger, all your sadness, waiting for a time to poke a hole through your thin door, asking for some more. way long to the end. Hollow on all the way long to the end. Hollow on all the way long to the end. Hollow on all the way long to the end. I was gonna play this next. I'm gonna play next one. That's what. Tomorrow brings a different. Tomorrow brings a different day. We're still lying on a carpet, watching bugs crawl across the screen. They're just chasing light, and we're awakened to the dark night, breathing in the morning time. And I'll fall into your arms when they're open. I'll fall into your arms when they're soft. I'll come to you when melancholy wanders. I'll come to you when you can't see tomorrow. And I'll say, hold time in the creases of your hands. Put it to your cold heart. Memories of walking round the block, sneaking inside vacant lots, picking sauerkraut off of rocks, and you're wiping cactus on your smoother skin. Talking about a future when we could go to live in a house we built with our two hands, and we'll go there when we sleep. We'll go there when we dream. We'll go there when we lay our eyes to rest. In the smalls of your palms, you could take it with you all. Every word that ever cut your skin. I'll do one more. Thanks for sticking around. Thanks for bearing with the chaos. Bringer of chaos. Okay, anyways. So this last one, it's a song by Jackson C. Frank. Does anybody know Jackson C. Frank? Called Tumble in the Wind. He's got a really sad story. He was in a fire when he was like just a kid, and all of his classmates died, and he went on to write some really amazing music. And then I listened to the song, and the first time I played it, I cried, and I felt like, I don't know, I felt like he was like in the room with me. And so, yeah, I'll see how it goes. Oh, he's got the super deep voice. So we'll see how it goes. I seem to tumble in the wind. I wait for it to begin. When I look at you, I ain't too proud to say I once loved this way. I bring danger on my lonesome self, and I see danger in each offered help. Times are tough, the money just won't come through, but I'd be alone if not for you. Thanks for listening. Thanks. Thank you, Evan. Thanks, Bert and Beckett. Thanks, Eric. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Elodie and Nathan. They killed it. Yeah, everybody. So cool. And August and Alder and band. Yeah.
Well, one more time for Tade. Like story time now. Okay, so just that concludes the inaugural Sundered Sound, everyone. So thank you for coming. Thank you, Eric, again for opening your doors at Bird and Beckett. I honestly could not imagine a better collection of artists to make up the first inaugural, the first Sundered Sound. And I just want to invite August, Elodie, Nathan, Tade, Alder, and the Kindred to stand up or come to the front area, basically, to receive one last round of applause. And this concludes the night. Thank you. Enjoy the bookstore. I know I just picked up 2 books if the cashier's open.
Oh, you didn't just stuff them in your bags?
No.
Thank you all so much for being here. This was fabulous. Thank you.
Thank you.
So funny.
Yeah, we were backstage just like
We were literally dancing. No, it's great. It's so good.
No, it was awesome.
Yeah. Oh my god, the drama during the McDonald's.
That was a true story too. We were so disgusted by the milkshakes that we just were like, we can't do this anymore.
Oh my god.
You guys are fantastic.
Thank you.
I always forget how much I love upright bass and like.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, same here.